The Stand is a 1994 American television miniseries based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King. King also wrote the teleplay, and has a cameo role in the series. It was directed by Mick Garris and stars Gary Sinise, Miguel Ferrer, Rob Lowe, Ossie Davis, Ruby Dee, Jamie Sheridan, Laura San Giacomo, Molly Ringwald, Karin Nemec, Adam Stork, Ray Walston and Matt Frewer. The Pickup Artist is a 1987 American romantic comedy film written and directed by James Chubak, starring Molly Ringwald and Robert Downey Jr. The film is noted for being one of Ringwald's more mature films. The Breakfast Club is a 1985 American coming-of-age comedy drama film written, produced, and directed by John Hughes and starring Emilio Estevez, Paul Gleason, Anthony Michael Hall, John Kaplos, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald and Ally Sheedy. Tempest is a 1982 American comedy drama film directed by Paul Mazursky. It is a loosely based, modern-day adaptation of the William Shakespeare play, The Tempest. The picture features John Cassavetes, Gina Rowlands, Susan Sarandon, and Molly Ringwald in her feature film debut. Teaching Mrs. Dingle is a 1999 black comedy drama film and the directing debut of screenwriter Kevin Williamson. The film stars Helen Mirren, Katie Holmes, Marissa Coughlin, Barry Watson, and Jeffrey Tambor and was released on August 20, 1999. Strike It Rich is a 1990 romantic comedy motion picture starring Robert Lindsay and Molly Ringwald. Others in the cast include John Gielgud. It was directed by James Scott, who also adapted the screenplay based on the novel Loser Takes All by Graham Greene. Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone is a 1983 pulp, action-adventure, science fiction film. The movie stars Peter Strauss, Molly Ringwald, Ernie Hudson, Andrea Markovsky, and Michael Ironside. Something to Live For, The Alison Gertz Story is a 1992 American television movie based on the life of a prominent AIDS activist Alison Gertz. The movie originally aired on ABC on March 29, 1992, approximately 4 months before Gertz's death. Some folks call it a Sling Blade is a short film written by Billy Bob Thornton, directed by George Hickenlooper and starring Thornton, Molly Ringwald, and J.T. Walsh. It was adapted into the feature film Sling Blade, also starring Thornton, and won Thornton the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay, as well as a nomination for Best Actor in a Leading Role. 16 Candles is a 1984 American coming-of-age comedy film starring Molly Ringwald, Michael Sofoling and Anthony Michael Hall. It was written and directed by John Hughes. Requiem for Murder is a 1999 thriller film written by Matt Dorff and directed by Douglas Jackson. Pretty in Pink is a 1986 American romantic comedy drama film about love and social cliques in 1980s American high schools. It is one of John Hughes' films starring Molly Ringwald, and is commonly identified as a Brad Pack film. Office Killer is a comedy horror film directed by Cindy Sherman. It was released in 1997 and stars Carol Kane, Molly Ringwald and David Thornton. An American Girl on the Home Front is the third movie in the American Girl film series, but is the first to premiere on the Disney Channel. The first 2 movies in the series were broadcast on the WB television network, but the series moved since it no longer fit in with its original network following the WB-UPN merger. Malicious is a 1995 Canadian-American thriller film starring Molly Ringwald and Patrick McGaugh. The plot follows a star college baseball player who has a fling with a disturbed medical student who begins to stalk him. King Lear is a 1987 cinematic adaptation of the Shakespeare play of the same title, directed by Jean-Luc Godard. The script is primarily by Peter Sellers and Tom Luddy. The film's plot, centered on a late descendant of Shakespeare attempting to restore his plays in a world rebuilding itself after the Chernobyl catastrophe obliterates most of human civilization, is centered on a resort in Nyon, Vaud, Switzerland. In the Weeds is a 2000 romantic comedy film written and directed by Michael Roach. Fresh Horses is a 1988 coming-of-age drama film directed by David Ince-Paul, and starring Andrew McCarthy and Molly Ringwald. For Keeps is a 1988 American coming-of-age comedy drama film starring Molly Ringwald and Randall Badekoff as Darcy and Stan, 2 high school seniors in love. Complications ensue when Darcy becomes pregnant just before graduation and decides to keep her baby. Cut is a 2000 Australian comedy horror film, which was directed by Kimball Rendell and stars Kylie Minogue, Molly Ringwald and Thierry Mora. Betsy's Wedding is a 1990 American romantic comedy film written, directed by and starring Alan Alda. It co-stars Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, Madeline Kahn, Joey Bishop, Joe Pesci, Anthony LaPaglia, Burt Young and Catherine O'Hara.